And now, live from the Good Beans Cafe in Flint, Michigan, the Creative Alliance presents Collab Night with our host, Mark, Funnyman, Taylor. Yay! Run up there!
Hello, everybody. How is everybody doing out there today? All right. We have a good crowd here tonight. So, before I get started, I have some good jokes for you guys.
Okay.
So, do you know how many tickles it takes to make an octopus laugh? It takes tentacles. Has anybody watched the show Game of Thrones?
Yes.
Yes. So, do you know what the dragon said after he saw two knights in armor? He looked at him and said, "Oh no, not canned food again." I tell you what. So, anyway, there's these two fleas that walk out of the bar, and one says to the other, "Hey, what are we going to do now? Are we going to walk home or are we going to take the dog?" That was a rough joke. I'm glad he caught the tail end of it. If these jokes keep going, I'm going to flee. Yeah. So, before we get started here, I want to give a shout out to Miss Jennie on the camera. Such a sweet lady. And this would not be possible without our sound man, Ken, right in the back. Ken the sound man. He makes us sound good. And so, anyway, before we get started here, I wanted to let you know that you guys can paint.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, you can paint. Then you won't die with strokes, you know. I messed up that joke. Anyway. Maybe I can paint that again. Anyway. So, yeah, you can paint and draw and do whatever you want to do on there. Also, do you see that little, the little thing right up there? Yeah. You can put money in there and you can use that. And that goes for a frisbee.
Yeah, you can just get a free
You get a frisbee or a
from me.
shirt.
$10.
For $10, you can get yourself a frisbee and a shirt. So that would be awesome. So we're gonna get ready for our first act up here, but I need to clean up my act. You know, I was addicted to soap, but now I'm clean. Anyway, I knew a friend that was addicted to the hokey pokey, and he turned himself around.
And that's what it's all about.
Yeah. All right. Never mind me. Let's get started with these. With our first act.
Gary Flynn.
Ladies and gentlemen, it gives me a great honor and pleasure to introduce our very own Flint historian, Mr. Gary Flynn.
Thank you, Mark. Well, last Saturday I was in Fenton for its art walk. I was invited to go to Fenton's Open Book, that's the bookstore in historic Dibbleville in downtown Fenton, with 5 other authors, and managed to sell 6 copies of my books.
Wow. Yeah.
And as you may know, I'm working on a 3rd book, should be coming out in 2021, called Lost Flint, mainly about things that are not in Flint anymore. I'll talk about one of them in a little bit. In fact, I just gave Mark to pass around a photo, and I'll mention that when I get to the piece which depicts that photo. I'm doing 2 things from Lost Flint, which begins part 2, which starts from the early 1970s onward. and one which is a segue from the end of part one about Flint neighborhoods that were lost to, quote, progress, unquote. And those two neighborhoods are mentioned in this part, which begins part two of the planned Lost Flint, about the white flight to the suburbs. Flint's population peaked at 196,940 in 1960. The 1970 population fell to 193,317. Genesee County's population grew from 374,313 in 1960 to 444,341 in 1970. When expressway development and urban renewal projects forced the relocation of the Floral Park and St. John Street neighborhood residents, restrictive covenants on deeds along with home sellers not wanting to live in integrated neighborhoods and real estate agents who steer home buyers into certain neighborhoods kept black home buyers from moving into more desirable neighborhoods. The lack of housing opportunities led to protests and unrest in the late 1960s. Civil unrest on two nights, on July 24th and 25th, 1967, in the wake of the Detroit riots, affected the St. John Street and Floral Park neighborhoods, as well as Flint's north side. Curfews and restrictions on sales of alcohol, gasoline, and guns were imposed in the wake of the disturbances. WAMM AM 1420, now WFLT radio, which was a daytime-only station at that time, was allowed to stay on the air during the unrest. The disturbances led to calls the following month for more employment opportunities for black youth and for open housing and equal accommodations. But the Flint City Commission voted down a fair housing ordinance the following month. That led to 10 days of protests attracting 4,000 people. Residents held a sleep-in in front of City Hall, and Governor George Romney showed up at a unity rally. 2 months later, the commission reversed itself and approved the ordinance, but opponents signed petitions forcing a vote. On February 20th, 1968, voters approved a fair housing ordinance by a very narrow 43-vote margin out of more than 40,000 votes cast. The Federal Fair Housing Act of 1968 made restrictive covenants illegal and unenforceable, as well as prohibit discrimination based on race, religion, or place of national origin. Governor Romney also signed a tough Michigan open housing bill. Despite legislation on the state, local, and national levels, segregation based on housing patterns continued. As black families moved out of the St. John Street and Floral Park neighborhoods in the wake of I-475 construction and urban renewal projects, some local real estate agents began soliciting either door-to-door or by phone offers to white homeowners in much of the city, which affected Flint's north and northwest sides, west of the Beer Complex, as well as the southeast side adjacent to Floral Park. That has some residents accusing real estate agents of illegal blockbusting, which is the practice of pressuring homeowners to sell because the ethnic makeup of the neighborhood was changing. White homeowners would sell their houses at below market value to real estate companies who would then sell the homes to African American buyers as a considerable profit. By 1973, the proliferation of for sale signs on front lawns led to calls to restrict the placement of for sale and sold signs. While opposed by the Flint Board of Realtors, they did favor certain restrictions, such as restricting placement of commercial for sale signs and prohibiting telephone and door-to-door solicitations by real estate agents looking for homes for sale. But that did not stem the white flight from the north and northwest sides, as well as part of the southeast side between I-69 and Living Garden Boulevard. Between 1970 and 1980, the white population declined from 138,065 to 89,470, while the black population increased from 54,237 to 66,164. In 1990, the white population decreased to 69,788, and the black population increased to 67,485. With the 2000 census, Flint shifted to a black majority, with 66,560 African Americans and 51,710 whites living in the city of Flint. And you may notice that in the 2000 census, Flint had a net loss in population. So this is just a rough draft. I'm encouraging people who read my messages on the Hidden History of Flint Facebook page, who are old enough to remember what happened in the 1970s to recall their experiences to me. So
That'd be great,
this
yeah.
is still a rough draft, so it'll change in different ways before it comes out in print. And now for the first part of Lost Flint, about places lost to progress. First introduction. In 1973, Citizens Bank bought the entire block north of its landmark headquarters building with a weather ball on top, up to Union Street to build a planned office tower addition. It purchased 6 properties which, once vacated, were demolished in May. 3 businesses went out of business, which were Block's Working Man's Jewelry, Le Chalet Adult Bookstore, and the Farnham Word Sports Club. 4 businesses relocated: the International Sounds Music Shop, Wholesale Wig Distributors, Cole Standard Shoes, and the following. Now, I've been passing around a photo of this building, so at this point, Jennie, when she makes the video, would insert this photo. And it's of the Savoy/Rialto/Royal Theater. With the coming of television in the 1950s, like with other large cities, most movie theaters located downtown or in neighborhoods closed one by one. One theater that managed to survive in downtown Flint into the 1970s was known for most of its existence as Rialto Theater. This theater was built in 1909 as the Savoy Theater by former entertainer Louis Sunland, who offered both live vaudeville acts and movies. After Sunland died in 1935 at age 80, the theater was sold, remodeled, and renamed the Rialto. While the Rialto offered movies, it did have vaudeville acts on Saturdays, Sundays, and Mondays under manager Maxie Geeler, who led his own act, Maxie and the Gang, on vaudeville nights, as well as presenting guest performers such as the Three Stooges, who appeared at the Rialto in 1938. The theater offered all-night movies for the benefit of factory workers. In 1931, the theater changed its name to the Royal and offered art and foreign films, which were not well received in the blue-collar town.
Wait.
4 years later, it was leased to Nathan J. Schwartz, who offered a different mix of movies for adults only, which were initially grindhouse films, which evolved into softcore, then hardcore pornography. In 1973, Citizens Bank bought the entire block of South Saginaw Street north of the bank building at Union Street for a planned office tower. The roller was torn down, but the 1973 Arab oil embargo and the resulting recession delayed construction of that tower until 1977. Completed in 1978, successor bank First Merit sold it to the University of Michigan in 2015, expanding the downtown campus even further downtown. It is now the University Tower building. The theater moved 1 block north to a building previously occupied by Goodwill Industries. It would be torn down in 1979 to make way for the Hyatt Regency Hotel, which is now the Riverfront Residence Hall. And that is my presentation for this month. Continue to monitor the Hidden History of Flint Facebook page for more information and photos and other tidbits I come across, as well as input from others, and I thank you very much.
Put this in here out here.
Give it up for Mr. Flynn one more time, please. Very good stuff. Before I get started with our next act, I just found out some sad news. I was at a farm and I saw the most saddest thing I ever saw in my whole life. There was a cow that was crying over spilled milk. Yeah, I tell you. I better be moving right along with these jokes here. Could we see who the next guest is?
Xavier.
Would you please welcome Xavier to the stage, please?
Oh, twister. How's it going, everybody?
Great, great.
Well, I'm also going to do stand-up.
Oh,
Quite the
cool.
act to follow. Now, I got a lot of big news going on in my life. I recently moved back out here about a month ago. I think it's going pretty well. I started doing jiu-jitsu again, so that means everybody here can kick my ass. But I think the biggest news by far that's going on for me is I started using activated charcoal instead of toothpaste. And I like it. I think it works pretty well, especially given the fact that I like looking like I ate the ass of an orc twice a day. Speaking of eating ass, what is it about every single millennial, every single one of them, that they like eating ass? Like, has any other generation had a collective fetish they all share? I'd like to imagine, in a completely appropriate amount, that Victorian people liked fisting each other. Now, the logical part of my brain says, no, those cage dresses that they wore would get in the way, you couldn't get the right angle, it just wouldn't work. But the dreamer, the dreamer in me, thinks I was part of it. They wanted to be behind bars while they committed sins against God and man with each other. Now, I think generational differences crack me up a lot. Baby boomers love complaining about millennials and the whole Tide Pod thing. When first of all, that wasn't us. That was 12-year-olds. And second of all, you guys did dumb shit too. Let's not forget that you like to roll down hills and tires and hope for the best. And you beat up gay people. So we all...
Well, I should talk about the open mics first off. We have this open mic every Wednesday at 7 o'clock. And, you know, you can paint if you'd like. We also, you know, and you can read poetry or sing or whatever you want to do. And we're pretty open to anything. And then also at Buckham, every first Friday, starting at 7, they also have an open mic, and it's very similar, but I don't think they have the painting anymore. But you're in a gallery, so you get to see all of the new gallery. Then every Wednesday night, starting at 10 o'clock at night, like after this open mic, the Golden Leaf has a open mic, and that one is more musical, you know, so it's usually people who want to play with the band, but that's fun too. So anyway, I just wanted to mention all of that stuff. Oh, and this, then too, before we forget, we're supposed to tell you that this show, or this, this episode, anyway, this is going to be on the Comcast Channel 17. Every Monday at 6 o'clock, one of our videos is on there. And this one will be on there too. If you don't want to be videotaped, let me know. I will turn it off so that I don't even get it on tape and accidentally put it on there. And then, like I said, we also have video of it. Flint Underground has all kinds of video. We have video going back years and years. I just videotaped part of the Buckham Alley Fest. That's on there now. And then I videotaped, Crown Road Bar the other day. A couple of my guys that were so anyway, so it's fun to just look at the videos on there. Okay, I also have written a book. I left it on the table. It's the near future. Oh, yeah, I was just going to show it. It is called Near Future, and it is a science fiction, a collection of short stories, science fiction, futuristic stories. And they all happen here in Flint, you know, just different people. But my book is a little different. I'm just going to read the back of it real quick, and then I'll read the little bit that I'm going to read tonight. I believe that too many of us are expecting a dystopian future, that this false narrative has become so embedded in our culture that we are causing it to happen. In my book of short, near-future stories, I explore a planet that took on the challenges of repairing a world that had been exploited almost to extinction, except for its human inhabitants pulling together and bringing the Earth back from the brink. We learn to embrace nature. We bring critical thinking to all grades of public education. A movement of citizen scientists becomes popular. We change our value system and come to the realization that we are all one people and need to live as a community. All 5 of the stories take place in the same time period and originate from the same American city. I tried to give the reader a glimpse into this world from the eyes of several different people, each accepting or rejecting emerging technologies as befitting their individual needs and personalities. But most of all, I like to think of this book as a conversation that the future might have with the present. So, anyway, the stories are also available as audio-video files that you can watch on YouTube. And if you go to the Warrior Publications Facebook page, there's links, and I have cards that have links if you're interested. So you can listen to the stories without buying the book. And I just had so much fun with this that I started writing the second episode of each of the first 5 stories. So I've already finished the first one, and the first story was called Transporter. And in that there was the main character has her transporter, which is actually our driverless car, what that becomes. And they stole it, and they kind of roughed her up when they did it. And anyway, she's back home now. And this is the second part. In this story, what I'm really talking about, the main overshadowing subject is voyeurism. It's because, you know, we're already constantly taking in videos of ourselves and showing them to the world, and we're watching them. I mean, it is a form of voyeurism going on right now. So, the thing that I talk about in here, though, is I do take it a few steps further in virtual reality. One of my pet peeves is that when you watch a sci-fi movie or read a sci-fi book, even the ones I love, like Star Trek, one of the things that they always do is they show virtual reality and holograms as having physical mass. You know, they can touch things and you can touch them. They don't. If you're in virtual reality and you see a comfortable looking couch and you sit down on it, you will fall on the floor. So what I'm thinking is that I'm trying to take a more realistic look at virtual reality, and all through the book I do that too. I make sure that, you know, it's in sync. But I'm wondering how we will compensate for that shortcoming. And so this story does get a little bit steamy, but Janet, who is the person that had her transport stolen, she has a fixation now with the guy who got her out of there, of the situation, even though he was like one of them. Okay, so anyway, but she's back home now. And I had the first part, I read the first part of it last month, so you're just going to watch if you want. After dinner, Janet stood up and announced that she would be in her room. Her parents looked at one another, and then her father spoke up. How about a game? No, I don't feel like it. There is a show I want to watch, she countered. Well then, how about a game of catch outside? It's a beautiful day out there, her father continued, trying to lure her out of her recent depression. No, I just don't feel like it. I went for a walk earlier today. You should go, she said in her best impersonation of an upbeat voice. She smiled at her father, but her eyes betrayed her. She could see he was worried for her. Did not tell you that my insurance papers came today? She abruptly changed subjects. Can't wait to get my new transporter. I'll be glad to be able to attend my meetings in person again. I miss all my friends, she added. Her dad smiled and nodded back. Good. You need to get out more. Then reluctantly, he ended the conversation so that she could return to her part of the house. Janet wandered into the large rectangular room with her bed being at one end and her desk at the other. In between was her VR arena. The hardwood floor and the high ceilings made for a wonderful play area. But Janet wandered to her desk, mostly out of habit. She checked her messages and took care of a few things, and then she found herself staring at a monitor, not really looking at anything. Then a thought struck her. She wondered if Jim's photo would be on the city's police site. She typed in his name, the name of the city, and then clicked to the link to the police force, and then she saw several rows of photos with names under each. In the center of the smiling faces was Jim. his blue eyes shaded by the brim of his hat. Janet enlarged the photo and stared at it, then his name, including his last name, James Aldridge. She clicked on the name of a small bio popped up. Corporal James Aldridge. I'm proud to be a fifth-generation police officer in this country. My family has been living in this area for over 200 years. My second great-grandfather was this city's first police chief, Forrest Aldridge, and I am proud to carry on his tradition by serving the community that he helped found. Janet mused aloud. She looked at Forrest Aldridge. The story checked out. Forrest was one of the city's first police officers and became the police chief in 1929. There were also photos of him with their first mayor, who looked very dapper in his white suit, but with a thick cigar in one hand and a lascivious smile on his face. Forrest stood at attention next to him with his steely eyes and a serious look, almost like he was the mayor's bodyguard or some other variety of thug. It made Janet wonder if Jim's illegal activities fit into the family narrative. She stared at the old black and white photo. She wondered what kind of family life he had growing up. What kind of stories did they tell at family gatherings? She looked him up on social media. Not there. What was his wife's name, she pondered. She remembered that the waitress had used it. She remembered thinking that at the time that it was a verb. Charity. So now she typed in Charity Aldridge. Bingo. Husband James, 2 children, cute photos, lots of family. She studied each available photo. Many of them were indoors and what appeared to be their home. She read any available posts, and Jimmy worked a lot. He likes to play games. He watches too much sports. Wait, what was that? She examined the home photo better. On the table, was that a voice-activated butler? She pulled the photo into the program and then let her zoom in. Why, yes, it was. As a computer scientist, Janet knew a lot about voice-activated appliances, and that was why she didn't have any. The company that you buy them from usually farms out the audio to another company that has the required AI to interpret what the user wants the device to do. Then a signal is sent to fulfill that request. She had experience with hacking into the secondary company's database in college. It was really just one of those things that she did to see if she could. She could. And now, she would. By midnight, she had located their account, their GPS coordinates, street address, and so now she could see their home from above. Medium-sized house with a large detached garage, a shed, all located on a neatly trimmed acre of land surrounded by farm fields. And now she was going to listen to the audio. She was inside their living room.
No, you're not going to leave us hanging like that.
Well, if you want to, seriously, I'm ready to sit on the room.
Give it up for Miss Jennie one more time, please. Right. Good stuff, Jennie. Good stuff.
Thank you.
So, a duck walks into a bar and goes up to the bartender and says, hey, do you have any grapes? And the bartender says, no, we don't have any grapes. He says, all right. Comes back in the next day. Hey, you got any grapes? The bartender says, man, I told you yesterday we didn't have any grapes. He went, okay. Walks out of the bar. Comes back again, and he goes, bartender, you got any grapes? The bartender grabs him by the neck and says, you listen, duck, you asked me that question again, I'm going to nail your beak to the bar. He says, oh, okay. So he walks out, comes back the next day, he says, hey, bartender, he says, what do you want now? He says, do you have any nails? And he says, no, we don't. He says, good, do you have any grapes? Yeah. That was a real quack up there. I mean, yeah. That was a duck of a joke. I wanted to play goose, but anyway, to our next guest.
Alex Markoff.
Would you please welcome our very own poet who didn't even know it, Mr. Alex Markoff.
Yeah.
So it's been a while.
Yeah.
Glad to be back. Just have straightforward poems. No introduction needed. In world composed of sacred geometry. 2 eyes, 1 pineal gland, 1 moment without any evidence of depression. I simply cannot see it, not from this vantage point. I see only original order, only what precedes original essence. The heart is also a song, an abrupt wilderness of divine thought. And here, in front of me, under the light of my desk lamp, sits 1 innate unit of 1 distinct, already solved problem. Perfectly straight striations on the surface of my just clipped fingernails. And here, under the light of my kitchen, 1 perfectly round drop of blood on the cutting board, 1 drop of sunlight in the vast darkness of outer space. I am reminded of the rest of my life, the perfectly circular expression of one of my curled body hairs on the shower stall wall, and now in the palm of my hand, pelted by water but still circular. For a moment I am comprised of lives. This weightless sliver of my body has been separated from many, many more just like it. This warring, dying planet, this random selection, escaping all the way down to my bare feet, past the flooding shower floor, into unseen pipes and drainage, ever flowing and sliding back into Mother Earth. All right, moving on. There are the restaurants. This actually is taking place in Flint Township. So you sort of imagine Red Robin's, all those other, those restaurants on Flint Township. All right. Okay, so here we are. There are the restaurants. Then there are more restaurants. Then there is what you come across when you park and walk in and take a step into the waiting area. There is your reason for ducking out almost immediately. And when you follow through and walk back into the outside world, there is your fear of the traffic. There are the occupied vehicles that build speed on both sides of the street. A near miss as you find yourself drawn towards the epicenter of this busy town. A stream of trademark signage leads directly in. There is the thriving collective, but only if there is evidence of paying customers in there somewhere, on the opposite side of the windows, where the meats are ground and served, where the refined energy is energetically spent. We can't say whether or not the waiting area is a small, dark hallway full of hungry, fat people. We can't verify what exactly you are smelling. We can verify that delicious bread comes complimentary. Welcome in. We are in the midst of preparing a table right now where you will feel comfortable, where we will serve you. Last one. All right, so this is taking place. This is basically about watching something on the news. So this is sort of getting into that world, that media world. Losing everything. There are infinite ways to lose everything, but the footage proves that the water level has risen, scorching fire and ravenous wind in there somewhere. The broadcaster in the studio has located one who is in the field. He stands tall amidst the wreckage, clad in gear. He claims that he is reporting from the center of where so much has been lost. And yet we see that no one is stark naked. Their bodies have not been compromised. They can still see and hear and look up at the sky. Everything implies nothing personal. They abandoned their home in a rush of fear. The thump of wind struck them. and now they are here. The fire began with billowing smoke, and sometime after that, they did abandon their only home, unable to fit the flooring, the walls, and the ceilings in their pockets, or spare the refrigerator and the freezer, or the rug that no one really looked at, or the toilets and the sinks. Some water left in there, some liquid gas left in the inner workings of the oven. Explosions, mattresses and nightmares, dress-up clothes and shoes, the kitchen table, the door to the backyard, the quivering lip and watery eyes of a larger, otherwise stoic woman. Look closely, for she must be among those who have lost just about everything. Thank you.
Give it up for Alex one more time, please. You know, Alex, I'm in the process of writing poetry. One of them is about tennis. I hope it makes a lot of racket. Yeah. Maybe badminton. I'm not for sure. Anyway, we're going to go to our next guest.
Whyse.
Word to the Whyse. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Whyse to the stage.
What's up? How's everybody doing?
Great, very good.
Okay. Alright, so today I'm going to have somewhat of an interactive show with y'all. So I'll probably do more than one poem, depending on if you guys allow it.
Oh, yeah.
So first I'm going to start off one that I'm becoming like my main poem right now. So it's entitled Black. Color. Black, white, shades between, and society color controls everything. Red or blue may determine my family or friends. Now add white and it's the country I'm forced to defend. Wait a minute, go back again. Why do colors separate me and my brother? Control territory to make us kill one another. To make us think that we should have to steal from each other. Dark blues or red pyrus destroy people like monsoons. You could say it ain't the wave. Quickly sending innocent young black men to the grave, tying us by our necks like we are still slaves. Melanin, the pigment of my skin, determines if I'm light brown or dark. It supposedly suggests how I act and how the police will react, because the darker my skin, the more visible the target on my back. Painted on me like shoe polish and blackface. Melanin can sometimes determine your place in the race of life. Because to be honest, this world is ran by whites, and in my dark skin, I'm supposed to act like that's all right. The other people are traveling, and I can't even buy a ticket for the flight. I'm not thought of, casted into shadows to put me out of mind because I'm out of sight. Black, 6 feet tall or 6 feet below. Black boys killed by police coming in by droves. We must stay on our toes. Because any day you can become the victim of a system. Not meant for you, but meant for those masters that used to own runaway slaves and take them back to their homes. Back then you called us property, took away our humanity and said we weren't whole. African, my ancestry that has become disconnected. Obviously I'm affected by the illusion of my last name. One given to my family like Toby, but I can only aspire to be strong like Kunta Kinte. And while knowing all of that, I still identify as a black king. I am an African-American black man with melanin the color of mocha and brown pigments. And I'm aware of my power and what it means to be black. Black. So I'm gonna pull out my phone. I want to hear some feedback from y'all. What would be more interesting? Like, I got some more kind of woke stuff, right? Or I can deliver you some personal things. I can deliver something that I just worked on, which y'all are interested in.
What you just worked on?
All right, so I'm gonna give you the most recent one. Okay. It's entitled "The American Wet Dream." The United States, I mean us. So far from lush, trying to come quick from America's bust. The American wet dream, what a fantasy or what a calamity. Middle class with a 2.5 nuclear family. But it's impossible to get that liquid. From a get-rich-quick scheme, the secret of priority really is to demean anyone who can't achieve the American wet dream. There's a hierarchy here, and many don't belong. So if you act, look, or breathe different, you must be wrong. And with outsiders, we don't really get along. Because if you think a little too abstract, you'll kneel instead of singing our national song. So you can get deported, incarcerated, or killed, it doesn't matter. All that needs to happen is for our pockets to deepen and for our checks to get fatter. So while you bust your ass chasing a paycheck to get that white picket fence, we'll make that income gap larger so you won't make a dent. The rich stay rich and the poor get poorer. You will never get rid of that foul order. I think the Wu-Tang said it the best: if you can't change the end. Cash rules everything around America. But if they don't want you to, you'll never attain the cream and the American wet dream. So once again, something personal, or I can do like my old poem that I normally do everywhere. Some of y'all know it. Personal. Let me look through. Okay, so we said personal. Like you wanted emotional or like positive, what you got? Emotional, make you cry. Okay. That's some high expectations. Oh, cry. All right, this one I call closure. The abyss of uncertainty, the fog of the unknown. No matter what, with you I always felt at home. Through the tyranny of instability, like grass with self-doubt, you gave me courage when it seemed like I was out. Faced with more adversity, and now that I'm alone, I am truly lost with direction, you my forgotten home. No amount of acres shall replace the beauty you once brought to me. Now I fear I'm a ship with no captain, lost in an endless sea. My bad. I don't regret the time we shared, for them my feelings true. I never paid back the experience I gained, because what you meant to me was truly new. My hourglass with time overdue. I only aspire to find someone special like you. Not to say that afterwards any pain ensued. Thank you for once being there. Thank you for the time that you shared. Thank you for being my temporary love and helping make me aware of what true happiness can be, reminding me of what it can, reminding me of how to be friendly. I wish you well with sorrow goodbyes. If I ever said I didn't want you, know that was considered a lie. Cross my heart, thread a needle, and hope to die. Learn to find closure in yourself. So, I think that's about it. That's 3 points for me. Thank you for having me.
Well, man, you got a following going on here. So, how are we doing so far? Right. Oh, before we get to doing our next thing, I want to say a big thank you for you guys for coming up here. You guys should give yourselves an applause for being here. It's a great honor to host this thing. I love it. I should be like Casey Kasem. I'm Casey Kasem. I was a countdown. Coming in number 3. So how about we go to our next guest?
Yeah.
Brian Pobocik.
Would you please welcome our very own balladeer, Mr. Brian Pobocik.
Brian, or if you want to talk about it, I thought we should mention about our famous grip, key grip. Did you, the article about him in the, oh, you didn't see it? Oh, there's an article. Tell people to look at, okay, I'll just say it. Go look at the Creative Alliance Facebook page, and you can see the article about our Ken. Yeah, did you see that?
I saw something posted concerning, yes, go to our article. You can link it through Flint Underground, and you'll see an article in there about our most benevolent philanthropic Ken Van Wagner, who was,
Yeah.
you know,
Helping the community and.
when he broke ground on this building, you know, 19 and a half years ago, and if I got my numbers off, they're not by much, but when he broke ground on this building, there was really nothing going on in downtown Flint. Oh, Churchill's might have existed, might have, who knows, but they didn't matter. But Ken has been a mainstay in this community for, about 23, 25 years, about 18 to 19 years, okay? And we'll round up 20, 25 years. So, yeah, and so read the article and you'll get more of the facts. I'm just kind of rounding numbers. But I'm sure it covers your position in this community, you know, which is considerable.
The Flint Hub wrote a really nice article about not only me, but
that's right, it covered much of it. You know what? Yes, it was. That was the thesis was coffee houses in general and their importance in the community. And honestly, Ken's been here for since 2000, maybe 2001, 2000. So do the math. That's 19 years. Most of these are upstart new. Most of the ones mentioned are really upstart new companies that probably wasn't even here in 2015. Nearly any of these. So Ken's been here by a mile. He's been here, and he's never strayed from his mission statement in terms of his contribution to the local arts community, and that covers all the arts. You know, us musicians, the spoken word people, the visual artists, and the stand-ups. Oh my gosh, everybody and everything. And I'm probably yammering now, but.
But as a matter of fact, he's also having a lot of different shows coming here, and we should keep note because you had some great musicians here with a harp the other day. I saw the video, but I know at Art Walk nights now he's also has a little festival, and I did videotape if you look on the Art Walk video at the very beginning. And what was it called again? The Witch's Tea.
Yeah. It's not uncommon
Yeah, so
upon
it's
entering
really
his
fun
his
to
entry.
go. It was really fun to go to.
His entryway there, it's not uncommon for him to have a sandwich board, which is highlighted by some day-glow markers, and it tells about all the events that are going on here. I didn't see one. I mean, I know there's a sandwich board out there, but I didn't see any events, and maybe I missed them. But yes, with the summer upon us, he's pretty active, and keep an eye out for that.
And every Art Walk night, stop here before you go to the other part.
Oh, heck yes.
Yeah, there we go.
Especially, you know what? We will probably see no more rain from here till November. That's almost a guarantee. But on those nights where there is rain and you're really not going to be able to walk from the width of one end of Saginaw Street to the other, why bother? Just come here and stay here for the entire duration of the Art Walk.
There we go.
Yeah. Go ahead, Gary.
Yes, I put a link to the story you mentioned on my Hidden History of Flint Facebook page, and I got a few shares.
All right. Cool.
Yeah, I've been posting it on our.
Yeah. Yeah, I think now my throat is, I can't sing anymore.
We'll do some acoustic.
It's gonna take a moment for me to set up.
Okay.
This might not go over very well, but this is something I wrote. I have played it out, but not for this audience, and it's a sort of warm-up song or a cool-down song, depending on the temperatures around here. This is something I wrote in 9th grade, 14 years old, and it may bomb even worse than that joke I told. Okay?
There you go.
Okay. I can dream, and all my dreams come true. I find myself with you. I hold you in my arms, the vibrations start. Now you are so willing, now I have your heart. I have your mind in my control. You can't escape this fantasy hole. So stay, I'll tell you when to go. Stay, don't you tell me no. Stay in my fantasy hole, stay. I can dream, I can dream. I don't want this to end. Can we still be friends? Your love is at the top, your love is rare, but I just have to stop to show you how much I care. I have these feelings under control. You can't escape this fantasy hole. So stay, I'll tell you when to go. Stay in my fantasy hole. Stay, don't you tell me no. Stay in my fantasy hole. Stay. 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 Stay, 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 stay. Stay, I'll tell you when to go. Stay in my fantasy hole. Stay, don't you tell me no. Stay in my fantasy hole, stay. So I got, what else have I got here? Now let's go to this one. Yeah, okay. See, I decided to do this one. Let's go here. Okay, I first started doing open mics around 91, and somewhere around 94, 95, I did a few open mics in the Fenton area. And this was at a bar then called Blaney's. It was a bar on the one of the lakes out there. I have no idea, couldn't take you there now. I know you went over a railroad track or something. Anyway, it was hosted by a gentleman named Darren Brown, who still performs out in that area. And just some of the locals who performed there included Matt Ratza and a fella named Shannon Dion, and I mentioned Darren Brown, and Phil McCrory also performed out there. So there were a few people who may or may not know who the heck they are, it doesn't matter. But there was a fellow who hung out there by the name of, hey Joe, how you doing? Anyway, there was a fellow by the name of Bill Kay who would show up out there. And I never met Bill Kay, but I knew him by reputation. He would show up with sheaves of song lyrics, and he would try to approach songwriters, because this was primarily a songwriter venue, and with the hope of maybe having some takers take him on as, adapting his lyrics and ideas as songs. And usually the people who took him on were good for maybe one attempt, because Bill was pretty stubborn, pretty hard-headed, and he was tone deaf. He couldn't. And it was really kind of tough working with him. Well, I didn't have to work with him directly, because a few years later, Darren approached me, said, look, Darren was running his own business, in fact, music shop, Brown's Music, and this is around 2002, and he said, I don't have time, but Bill approached me, and he said, he gave me this stack, and it was about 8 song lyrics, and I had been going through some writer's block at the time. It was time for me to kind of get back into it. So I took the 8 song lyrics, and I dismissed 4 of them outright, but there were 4 other ones that I rated in order of difficulty, and I decided I'd tackle. I said, there were 4 that I wasn't going to be able to do anything with. So I took on the first one based on difficulty, and I wound up doing 8 or 9 rewrites on this. So I wound up performing and recording and writing 4 different songs for him, and this was the first one. And I put him on a cassette tape and sent him to him, and my contact with him would have been Phil McCrory, and he got a hold of Phil and said, look, I don't know who this clown is, but you better tell him to not quit his day job because... So this is a song I wrote with Bill Kay. He didn't like it, and it was difficult to write this song. I mean, there really wasn't any give and take. I just took the lyrics he had and just kind of went with it. And the problem he had is he got really stuck into an emotional rut on these songs. This song is a real sad, almost a pity song. And I'm a person who, when I write a narrative song, I don't mind starting really sad. I don't even mind ending sad. But you gotta move in a linear, or an arc. And first verse, second verse, and third verse, the subject of the song, which was him, he was sad as hell in each of these, unrelentingly sad. And so I introduced a bridge in there that had a little bit of humor in it, because otherwise, this song was not going to work for me. But anyway, he didn't like it, so it's called "Hooked on a Heartache," and it's a hillbilly country type song. So here we go. Thought I'd have myself a cry after you were gone, but that night you said goodbye. I just had to carry on. At times I thought to give it up and let my spirit break, 'cause it is no piece of cake. I'm hooked on a heartache. Hooked on a heartache. No, I can hardly sleep. All night I walk the floor. All I want to do is weep. You're not here anymore. I no longer expect relief when I face the daybreak, 'cause it is no piece of cake. I'm hooked on a heartache. Hooked on a heartache. I toss, I turn, I call your name out in the morning. You should have came with the Surgeon General's warning. Seems like every time I fall, I just don't know what to do. I get caught up in withdrawal, acting like a lovesick fool. No rehab can bring relief, and there's no pill I can take, and it is no piece of cake. I'm hooked on a heartache. I'm hooked on a heartache. Intros and everything, and that thing that happened in the front half of my performance, I know I've eaten up a lot of time. I've only done 2 songs. Can I do a 3rd song? Are you okay with that? Okay. This is a song I wrote in '95. Really, around the time I've been doing open mics. I'm gonna try and do it at the 4th fret. That's not what the page says. I think I should be able to. Anyway, brief story. I was doing open mics, and there was one ongoing one at Sylvia Joe's, which stopped because Sylvia Joe, this is on the east side of Flint, Wagon Wheel, no longer exists, country bar. And Sylvia put an end to it for no reason, in that there was really not, it wasn't growing, okay? So when Harry Harding, the host of it, stepped away, up stepped a young musician of the area named Lori LaCrosse. Lori LaCrosse was from the Davison area and ran a tabloid newspaper called Riff in the mid-90s. And she was married to another fellow, but she would remarry a guy by the name of Rusty Wright. And you may know, or you may have heard of the Rusty Wright Blues Band. And Lori is the wife of Rusty Wright. And so anyway, she hosted an open mic, and I was of the habit of writing a new song for each one of these, okay? And so I wrote this song, and I took sick, so I couldn't actually show up for the open mic that I wanted to perform this in. And, and as it turns out, when I did show up the next time, it had devolved into a karaoke night, and there really wasn't any acoustic songwriter performers. Okay, and this is an up-tempo song, it's pretty fast. Or at least a mid-tempo song, okay? It's a pickup song, you know? In a bar, you see somebody across the room and you want to pick them up, you know, that sort of thing. You're a guy, you know, and maybe the other person happens to be a songwriter, okay? So that's called the songwriter, so here we go. Here I am at Sylvia Joe's, trying to get some attention. There you are, and so it goes. Honey, did I fail to mention? Hey, baby, I am a songwriter. Hey, baby, I am a songwriter. Could be in the atmosphere, converging cosmic astral magic. Of course we could go our separate ways, and that would be quite tragic. Hey baby, I am a songwriter. Hey baby, I am a songwriter. Some call it craft, some call it curse. So tell me what your plans tonight are. Would you take me home for better or worse? Wrote this song, guilty as sin. What a songwriter's worth defending. All I need is a collaborator. Would you provide a happy ending? Hey baby, I am the songwriter. Hey baby, I am the songwriter. Let's do that bridge again. Some call it craft, some call it curse. So tell me what your plans tonight are. Would you take me home for better or worse? Here we are at Sylvia Joe's, trying to get some attention. There you are, and so it goes. Honey, did I fail to mention? Hey baby, I am a songwriter. Thank you guys, thank you. Thanks Mark, thank you Jennie, thank you Ken, thank you audience. Thank you so very much.
Now that place is now a Family Dollar store.
Is it? Okay, I'm gonna do a dry run by there at one point and just check it out. Oh, I'm gonna lose my glasses. Hang on. A brand new $600 pair of glasses.
Oh, wow.
Why don't you come up here and kill some time, Mark, while You can move it slowly. I'm sorry.
Give it up for Mr. Brian one more time, please. That is awesome as a possum.
Am I ready?
Everything is goody in the hoodie around here. So, I need to make a hoodie out of that.
Goody mob.
So, we're gonna, as soon as Brian leaves, we'll go to our next guest, but in the meantime, so, there's these two pianos that walk out of a bar and they get to their house, and, they start opening the door, one turns to the other and says, well, doesn't that beat all? He says, what do you mean? He says, we have 88 keys and none of them can open the door. That is my musical joke. Who's our next guest?
Isan?
Would you please welcome Isan to the stage?
A little phonetic thing you did there was a good idea.
Don't be nice!
How y'all doing, first of all?
Yeah, great. Very
East West,
good.
I haven't been in an open mic in so
Even
long.
better,
It's crazy.
even better now.
Even better now?
Yeah.
I like that. It's energy, I like that. No, for real, how y'all doing?
Great.
Halfway decent.
Quiet. You love your mama, say yeah.
Yeah!
Yeah? You took a shower this morning and say hell yeah.
Hell yeah!
I'm sorry, my sister here, I gotta show out now. So. But my name is Isan, I'm a poet from Flint, Michigan. This is my first time back in an open mic, and let's get into it for real, really. Get comfortable. Julian, right? I'm gonna do some rap. I got you, because I know you. Yeah. I died a legend before I ever let them disrespect me. The penmanship is a product of prophets breathing heavy. These new dudes is old news, they can't check me. Off the dribble, I'm hard with it, shout out to Penny. I seen plenty. Cats get clapped, them loose lips flap, them hoops dreams chase, them black boys rap. I think it's genetics. I think it's pathetic. Y'all trade y'all souls for a copy of aesthetic. Well, I do better trying to box my reflection. The left jab, deadly as lead water. Fitted for rusted pipes and coming through your faucet. I pour a shot for the falling. Tripping but never falling. I figure at 6 figures, my mama won't worry often.
Okay.
Breezing through 19, staring at 32. Far from a plateau, but I don't think I'm peaking soon. I swore that I speak the truth. Promise I never lose or maybe who I am. I think they'd be a bit confused on that note. Flick of the pen whenever I'm in these rap quotes. They get butterflies, I'm Phelps checking the backstroke. Hating motherfuckers backstabbing because they back broke. Stand straight up when they see me because I'm that dope. There's no substitution for real. That's why I spit it, no hesitation. I got them looking at me like an abstract face painting, and I be at my station. Man, you like I'm Peyton, the boy got a high patience, ain't worried about no safeties. Good, better, way your head up, word bending, I been being brash with letters. I let them collect it, the message came with fewer discretion. I never let the beat breathe, it's a nasal congestion. With the mark of a genius, I pen pad the demons, I undo the wrongs while trying to build a whole new sequence. No psychic can see it, I'm here for some siege. They know that I'm seizing the moment. I speak my piece, break that down into many components. Feel like the code is the game is decoded. I'm just dealing with this lack of talent, but you know I'm still going. Alright, so I rap, do spoken word, a lot of stuff. It's fun. But I also am on Apple Music, Amazon, all major platforms. I do make music. And I actually have a single called Balance that I actually released in October of 2018. And it's actually really fun, so I want to do something interactive. I'm only doing 2 things, because I'm not, but... What? You want 3?
Yes.
3?
3. Period.
Period, right? All right, we see what we can do. But the song is called Balance, and at the time, I was going through my 2nd semester at Central Michigan University, and it was a point where I really, really was distraught and didn't know what was going on. And the song came to me, and I really like it. So if you guys want to do a listen and repeat thing, that'd be really cool to help me out. I like to think I can sing. I can't really sing for real, but it works out on songs because I can mix. So, so the hook goes, I've been looking for some balance. And in this crazy life, that can be a challenge. I'm trying to free my soul. It's hard for me to feel like I've been blessed. But at my lowest lows, somehow I feel like I should give my best. Okay, so the tune is really slow clap, but You follow it? It goes, I've been looking for some balance. Yep, nope. And in this crazy life, you gotta slow it down. That can be a challenge. I'm trying to free my soul. It's hard for me to feel like I've been blessed. But at my lowest lows, somehow I feel like I should give my best. And we repeat it. So we do that? Can we try that? He's like, I don't know, dude. But, all right, so let's see. Let's get it going. Hey. Keep it going. Hey. Art in my mind, stress on my head, pen in the pad, ink of the lead, class of the booth of the bed, daily decisions and text going red, looking for truth, searching for self. I got some problems, I won't call for help. I watch my mama go hard on her own, so I try not to trip off the shit that I feel. Cause it's 2020, hindsight and vision. Watch me get descriptive, this is new commitment. All night is eating chicks and rhyming, never rhyming dining, but I'm rhyming down it like I used to. Remember we're 02. Sippy cup blues clues. I'm making new moves, trying to get to these greenbacks, and I don't need a blues clue. Hard work, hella meditating, getting frustrated, but remaining patient. I'm infatuated with the peak of greatness, so there's no replacement for the road I'm taking. Hey. Here we go. Hey. Now I've been looking for some balance. Let me hear y'all. And then this what? But in this crazy life, yes, that can be a challenge. You trying to free your soul? I'm trying to free my soul, yep. It's hard for you, hard for me to feel like I've been blessed. At your lowest lows, but at my lowest lows, somehow I feel like I should give my best. One more time. Hey. Cause I've been looking for some balance. I hear y'all trying to come through. In this what? In this crazy life, yep, that can be a challenge. Trying to what? I'm trying to free my soul, yep. It's hard for me to feel like I've been blessed. At your lowest lows, but at your Keep it going. I'm just trying to get it how I live. Of course, it's harder than it looks, so some cats forfeit. That ain't in my blood, so I guess I ignore it. Still can't be ignoring. My eyes on the Forbes list, feet on the pavement, ushering changes, trying to break it down to the basics. Still remaining true to myself is more music than a paper and stages. Used to question if I can make it, but now I'm in the booth like, yeah, put the reverb right there. Lay on my hooks on the snare, bass grooves just like that. Man, these lanes better be scared, I'm putting in work. Also priorities first, right now it's verse after verse, gifting the curse. But I bless it with these words, motherfucker, what you heard, I'm doing my thing. Yeah, like, that's how it is. We got something ahead, man. Time of action, I love it. You said you wanted
one more. All right.
Kayla. I hate you do that. Let's see. Cruz.
Yeah.
What did I do?
A poem.
Oh, a poem.
Oh.
You want a poem?
Go ahead, hit him with it.
Okay, I got you.
Don't be nice.
Be nasty. Okay. A mother whose children are dying in her arms. She has lived a long and tiring life. Her children sucking the nutrients out of her. She is wearing thin. Welcome to Flint. She has lived a long and tiring life. Streets that tried to pimp her out, misuse and abuse her, but she is still mother. She is still bulletproof vest, swallows it all whole and spits out legend, cause Flint's raising warriors. More blocks than kindergarten, more corners than hexagons. A city where tired is a lifestyle, where rest is a blunt meeting lips between work shifts. Flint. If I ain't got it today,
Rest, I may have it tomorrow.
hard work,
I don't
tough skin, 1 church, 2 jail cells, 1 school book. Living here is tossed body, it is overboard. Sacrificing, it is being Jonah and knowing the whale's belly flourishing in the dark. We have trained our eyes to still embrace light. To remember light, we are that light. He gave me 1 pen, 1 notebook and said feed 100,000. So I write. Reacting to what I know is my essence, putting my passion on paper and showcasing my expression. You ain't from the fly, you ain't familiar with fame, and that ain't what know my pulses. All I need to keep standing. They say that fly rag blues finally got to you, yeah? You just living like surprised they ain't shot at you yet. Shot at your way, you living cause that shot misplaced. The kind that bust the trigger bang, they both honest mistakes. Bringing the cold front to where passion and goals meet. My city engaged the hustle, don't come in with cold feet, cause I represent the belly of the beast. Forget what you heard about it, just know Flint made me.
Period.
Bravo, my man, bravo. Oh, I have a little reminder. You guys can come up here and paint.
Yeah.
So, don't be shy of doing art stuff. Come up and paint. It'd be really awesome to see what you come up with. Anyway, we're gonna go to our next guest.
Kayla Shannon.
Yes, sister.
For her, Miss Kayla is on stage.
Hey,
Wait, don't be nice.
be nasty, as always. Hello, my name is Kayla Shannon. Where did Tim go? Okay. My name is Kayla Shannon, and I'm gonna do a couple pieces for y'all real quick. I hope that's okay.
That's
Yeah.
fine. Your name that.
We don't have much choice.
You know. So this first piece I'm gonna do is called What Heartbreak Is. I'm actually taking this piece to competition tomorrow, so wish me
Ooh, yeah.
luck.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Break your legs.
I'll try not to. All right. A love letter to heartbreak. I want to say thank you for all the lessons you've left written in scar marks on my chest, close enough to my heart so I always pledge allegiance to misery. In the same moment I pledge to my country. You always liked irony like that. From you, I've learned that heartbreak is a knife driving through my brain stems and twisting infinitely. It is not drinking water in hopes that my tear ducts would become barren as Sahara and close up. Heartbreak is hugging myself to remind me of what my breaker's arms felt like. Wishing their arms could block out the same pain that they are causing. It's so hard to be activist and broken, or broken and actively continuing to break self. But I never seen Elmer's glue fit for the shambles of my being, so I be broken. And I break. And I apologize for my brokenness. I apologize to my breaker. On some days, my heartbeat is my hardest try at rebellion. When I am too tired to walk, my mind too weak to revolt, it is on those days that I call on the resilience our lessons gave me. I've been foolish enough to believe this feeling would favor those described in fiction movies, but heartbreak, you taught me that you are much more than a played out exposition. Forced my heart to be warrior before it had the chance to learn peace. I was never meant to meet agony so soon. Can't help but blame myself because I was the only thing left standing to blame. How do you recover from a condition while questioning your part in the process of the original infection? I've tried to be all black girl powerhouse, held my head high, dragging baggage behind me, learned to make myself burdensome to everyone but myself. I've been everyone's counselor, but my own smiled broken fragments. 'Cause heartbreak, you never like to see me frown for too long when I'm overwhelmed by the constant hum of my own suffering. You'd always tell me to put on my favorite dress and force these legs to swing to a less bitter tune. Play good memories on repeat like my new favorite song, and I think that should count for something. I love you, heartbreak. Addressed to my mother, from a daughter who's fallen in love with the fragments that you never could. Thank you.
Yeah!
This next piece I'm gonna do is called From Me to You. Period.
All right. And that's just that.
That got no sense.
Go ahead.
My love for you is paradox. Fierce lion or calm as rolling sea. A reminder that things mustn't always make sense. That life is worth the change it forces you into. See, you are the first person I call when I'm trying to make $1 out of a dime piece. You remind me that queens were never meant to dwell in the company of jesters who make punchlines out of girls like me. Your love for me is rigid and smooth like shea butter. But only after I've put in all the effort it takes to coax it into my skin. Your love only functions correctly when I've warmed it up a little. It leaves me glowing, but it reeks of labor. Your love reeks like foreign baby blanket from someone else's childhood. Reeks like nostalgia of what we used to be. Like the smell of dried tear stains on my pillows. Our love for each other is sweet. As homemade candle made of all our favorite memories, it shines as rock does after centuries of pressure. Our love is pressure, like the weight of an unfinished sentence. Our love is. Thank you.
Do it again. No.
All right, so this last piece I'm gonna do is the piece I do everywhere I go. It's Tim's favorite. This piece is called Kryptonite, and I wrote it about the city of Flint. And I'm about to go in, that's all I'm saying.
Be nice.
Be nasty. Anyways, I love this audience. Y'all are great. Anyway, okay. I've never been burned by fire, but I imagine that is what it would feel like to be told that your child tests positive for lead poisoning.
Lead poisoning exists. They have to do potion.
When you
Rewind.
don't go back.
Bring it
Bro, I ain't done that piece in a minute. Ooh.
Bring it back.
The disappointment.
You got it, babe. You got it, babe. You got it, babe.
Ah, you got it.
Y'all shut up. Okay, we gonna try again.
Let's go. Right.
That's funny.
One more here, baby. One more here.
I am convinced that my governor graduated valedictorian of White Supremacy University with a master's in gentrification.
Magna cum laude.
That his biggest dream as a child was becoming a king, but since America is a democracy and he's way underqualified to become president, he settled for the next best thing. I'm convinced that he played war games as a child instead of freeze tag. It's the only reason I could think of for why he saw Flint's well-being as an afterthought. After stress, after pain, after death. Saw a city full of deadbeats and nobodies. Saw an easy target standing still, took his shot with both eyes open. So tell me, is it possible for a city to be your home and still your biggest weakness, this lead be kryptonite? A silent killer for cowards. He attacked us using our homes as a weapon. Shot lead bullets into our bloodstreams, called it an accident, a misstep. When in reality, it was the beginning of a war he waged without our permission. But Flintstones be superhuman. Our powers boundless despite our enemies' attempts to use our strength against us. Just last week, I met a woman strong enough to lift her whole family out of debt. Saw a city fly in to rescue their neighbors. My best friend been using her battle scars as motivation. Our government thought they broke something. Maybe our hope, along with our infrastructure, when in reality they rewrote something. Gave our comic book new beginning, cause see, Flint can't spark fire till you hit it. And yeah, my city been hit. but our backbones are stronger than they could ever imagine, yeah. My city been hit, but we've been fighting for years to keep our heads above water, so warfare comes as nothing new to us. Step back and watch us do what we're best at, cause see, nothing ever been handed to us easy or simple. Every plot involving black characters comes with a twist, and we've never been able to back down, so, yeah. My home is being used as kryptonite. The Superman ain't lost a fight yet.
Boy, there's a lot of testifying here tonight. Wow. Let's keep the show on the road here. Who's our next guest?
Silver Hawkins.
Would you welcome Silver Hawkins to the stage?
Chubby Ninja has returned.
So, every once in a while I like to perform a piece I ain't even finished yet.
All right.
Just to get like initial reactions.
Yeah.
Okay.
See if I want to continue. So I'm going to do that now.
Right.
Because, y'all just awoken something in me with your invocation. It's really... Okay. The plebeians are seeing lead bellies pissing bullets meant for silencers. Got me sipping water of islanders or Icelanders. Concerned about my future standing, I must stand firm, walk on, carrying the mantra of the day on my back. As it flows down the drain like heavy rain, lead shots dripping from the barrel of my faucet, cold filtered showers to cool my boiling blood. Get over it. The motto and the mantra wrapped around the psyche like an oily film. Get over it. A handful of governed dead isn't enough for the governor to shed a tear. Get over it. If synaptic pathways get blocked and static reroute them shits, it's only a brain. Get over it. Like a steep hill or the gray back of a whale, or is it more how state reps have always gotten over it? Get over it. Like a dead body in the doorway. Maybe take the cadaver with you and lay it over the next mud puddle. Get over it. What a go-getter. You got my vote. Morals suck. Get over it. Great advice. Tell it over graves. Sell it to dead bodies. The ghost of my uncle would kick your ass. Get over it. Strain it out like a gallstone, you turd. Pinch it off when you can't stand the smell of it. Get over it. Could those be the last words a murderer would use to address the victim's family? Get over it. Maybe if he knows he won't see a day of jail time, so get over it. That's all I got to say. So that was like a delayed reaction to a news article I saw in the Journal when the governor said, we need to get over it. That irritated me a little bit. So, I'm going to do another one. And this one, I think I'll do this on like I'll do this one about somebody else. This ain't about me, so don't try to like, you know, make any correlations or anything like that. No, it's sort of about me.
Is it the troll song?
No, it isn't. Wait, are you filming me?
Oh, you want me to
No,
turn it
turn
off?
that off.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Give it up for him one more time. Right. So, what is our next guest?
Tom Allen.
Would you please welcome Tom Allen to the stage?
Anyway,
Well, can you probably have like a Facebook page that has your stuff on it that you keep up? Or
Yes,
no?
I kept up, yes.
Yeah, okay. I was just trying to give people an idea of where they could go to find out about all the stuff you have going on here.
boy, there's some really great energy here tonight. And I'm old enough or young enough or whatever to have lived through the Civil Rights Movement. And at that time, we learned that we're all the same except for the color of our skin. But I want to tell you about the time that I began to like black people because they're different from me and not just because they're the same. And it was in Minneapolis. There was a park, and I was going down looking for somebody in this pavilion, and they're all a pavilion about, I don't know, 80 feet long. And all black people in there. They were having some kind of, I don't know what kind of thing. And I got in there looking for whoever I was, and I thought, this feels different than a crowd of white people. It's more tactile. It's warm. It's like honey. It's different, and I like it. So we got a bunch of real good energy here, and I'm going to tie into it. This is a song about political freedom and independence, and it was banned by the Nazis during the 1930s. It goes, Die Gedanken sind frei, in German means, our thoughts must be free. Die Gedanken sind frei, my thoughts really flower. Die Gedanken sind frei, my thoughts give me power. No scholar can map them, no hunter can trap them, no one can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei, no one can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei. Never hurts to practice. I think as I please, and this gives me pleasure. My thoughts must, my conscience decrease. This right I must treasure. My thoughts will not cater to duke or dictator. No one can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei. No one can deny. Die Gedanken sind frei. Now should tyrants take me and throw me in prison, my thoughts will burst free like blossoms in season. Foundations will crumble and structures will tumble and free people will cry. Die Gedanken sind frei and free people will cry. Die Gedanken sind frei. Okay, now this is a blues, and as you can tell, you know, the blues comes out of, nobody needs to tell you about a tremendous amount of unspeakable pain and just total rejection from the get-go, and your friends, neighbors, and relatives being lynched and so on and so forth. And this is the white boy's blues, whose main problem is that he's so polite, right? polite. It's just a shame. I'm just so polite now. It's a crying shame. So knock right up and drag it, snap right up and blag it. Give it that thing. Wow, I'm so refined. It just stinks. I'm just so complicated because of the way I think. So knock right up and tickle it, snap right up and pickle it. Give it that thing. Wow, I'm so broke. It's just a shame. I'm just cash without now. So in the big man's name, go out and make some money. Life will be funny. Give it that thing. Wow, I'm so single. What went wrong? I'm just a big old bachelor now, but not for long. So girls fight each other, don't shoot your mother. I don't want another like I had before. I'm so polite. I'm so polite. You know, just to be who you are is the kind of the biggest challenge, isn't it? I mean, why do I love the beautiful things of life? What are the things that give the wings to my life when pain is everywhere and for some life is a bear saying, does anybody care? And despair is in the air, in the air. Is it fair to enjoy the beautiful things of life, like wine and cheese, like a pretty summer breeze, like saying thanks and saying please? Is there anything can ease your pain? Like saying thanks and saying please, like saying thanks for what I have and please for those who don't. Like living with a zest and with a blessing for the rest. For those who live without, can my life and can my gifts make things better? So come and join me in the cheese, saying thank you, saying please, enjoying every summer breeze blowing softly through the trees, singing, why do I love the beautiful things? Why do I love the beautiful things? So come and join me in the wine, fruit of someone's nurtured vine. It will give your eyes a shine when you tell me you are mine, you are mine. Tell me, why do I love the beautiful things? Why do I love the beautiful things of life? Thank you. Thank you very much.
Good job!
Thank you.
Alrighty, give it up one more time for him. Hey, Miss Jennie, how many people do we have left?
1, 2, 3, 4.
We got 4 more.
Right.
Okay, so who's the next guest?
Matt D.
Please welcome Matt D.
One D, 2D, 3D, Matt D. Always wanted to do that. Open the doors and kick all the tires. This is the kind of darkness that doesn't run away from fires. Inside, outside, you say to yourself, I am mine, when deep down you know you're just part of a pacifist tide. In your own mind, you're making excuses for every single waste of your time. It's not nature or nurture, it's making friends with a lie. You're, it's not nature or nurture, you're just making friends with a lie. A long time ago, you stopped caring about the difference between ignorance and pride, and now you're just crumpled up foreskin without any thought, at home with the cowardice you paid for and bought, a wasted life you're too afraid to measure, a list of accomplishments written down on toilet paper. Believe and react to everything you ever said but didn't do. At the end of the day, nobody made you a loser but you. Sorry, I haven't done that one in a while. I wanted to pull out a old, fresh one. For a moment, let us think about the land and put into words the feelings we know but don't fully understand. What is truly valuable? Not just in weight, but in virtue. When you got an empty stomach, nobody has to tell you. Fill in the soil with ideas that try to make the mind grow, like a partially opened eye looking through a painted window. What we see isn't natural. Prescription direction, operated healthcare less. The nutrition sickness brought to you by gangsters planning outlaw ownership with barbed wire democracy. Welcome one and all to the mental prison theocracy. The hand that feeds is wearing a badge and a glove. When politicians laugh, it's never about love. To them, we're like animals afraid before the slaughter because everybody's a victim when we're all just following orders. So don't cry about injustice with a voice full of pain. Unoccupy your fear and send hope down the drain. Make a plan for yourself and grow and attack because the earth won't be ours until we take the land back. I'm actually a little rattled coming up here because I had a new piece on my phone, and my phone's been glitchy as fuck lately, and it totally just deleted 4 pieces that I only had on my phone, and that literally happened like 10 seconds before I came up. And that first piece was all up in my head, and then all I just thought was, I just lost a lot of work. That's why usually if you see me up here, I've got paper. Okay, there's a reason for that, people. Yeah.
I've seen it.
Well, all right. I'm gonna do something just a little bit different. I've been exchanging work with a friend lately, and man, I had that perfect 3-piece and a biscuit combo where it was gonna be like those two, and then this phone just like kicked me in the butt. All right. Anyway, so okay. It's toned down a little bit. And being as though this act is half ruined, I'm gonna read this one though. It's totally toning it down. I was gonna add this progression thing anyway. So it's called Reality Therapy, and this is written by my friend Jen, who lives in the tip of the mitt, the top of Michigan, and she's a remarkable lady. I mean, this is mother of 3, runs a farm with minimal help. She's the kind of woman that can cook the best bread you've ever tasted and slit the throat of a goat. It's pretty amazing. Okay. So anyway, this one it's called Retail Therapy. All right, and I'm gonna try to read it in my voice, but it's her voice. You know. It's called Retail Therapy. The doors will open, and she'll enter, be greeted warmly, then ignored. Anonymous. And the street floor is the river she'll skate away on. Static, safe, fluorescent. She prefers to be near the perimeter, to gaze at the impossible in neat rows of fruit and veggie there. Citrus, broccoli, strawberry, to glide by the proteins corralled in their freezers, according to species. To flirt with hair, netted ladies, baking breads and sweet things, to be alone here, finally, among many. Occasionally, she will forget her list, and on these days, her cart will be filled, instead with products of a careless person, which she isn't, forgotten list notwithstanding. Some days, she will inhale, with each breath feel more empty. She'll wander, finding nowhere to bury all the lonesome, or her own streaked face. Eventually, she will exit if the wind is from the west. Imagine the sweetest sense of velvet noses and furry bellies, of black earth newly warmed of home. Stung and sickened, she'll turn away, and pretending not to notice, head east. I love her wordplay. She's Capricorn, I think. Well, I've got this big empty in my set now because I'm not sure what to do. Might just get the fuck off the stage, being as though this did not go at all like I planned. Let's see. Okay, I'm gonna go risky. I've never read this one out loud before, okay? And this was a stream of consciousness, okay? So this is unrefined, first draft, raw as hell. I've never been behind the wheel of this one, okay? Imagine life in an hourglass frame, counting the grains of sand as nothing stays the same. Cycles of counting, moments of intensity and strain, an ego unchecked, desperately searching for something external to blame. But it's not always rational, identifying broken links in the chain, wondering how to keep your sanity when sorting out what should stay the same. So that being said, about the soul I'd like to find, I want to stress to you that suicidal ideations are not my state of mind. There's so much to live for within this forthcoming paradigm. But how do you heal from such a deep incision when you're unable to recognize the stench of your own narcissism? The two of us making peace will do nothing but improve our vision. We both adore our creation, but can we both be strong enough to start a new chapter with fission? I've acknowledged your pain. You spit on mine, unable to recognize the truth about the timeline. I have not left the trail of misery and destruction behind. Just a string accounting of trauma and an age of sorrow. But I'm asking you, please, can we make love and help for tomorrow?
Okay.
Not bad for a test drive. Thanks.
That was great.
You are welcome.
Yeah. Fucking phone.
Hey, do you know what you call a dog with a telephone? Do you call him a golden receiver? All right, who's our next guest?
JaQuan Brown.
Please welcome JaQuan Brown to the stage.
First and foremost, my name is JaQuan. There we go.
JaQuan, I'm sorry.
It's all right, you know.
All right, JaQuan.
I'm done.
You better do that thing, boy.
Okay.
Don't be nice.
Oh,
Be nasty.
Okay. But so the first poem I'm gonna say, I don't have a title for it, but it's based off a song that helped me get through like a tough time like 2 years ago. But yeah, the blood that runs through my veins are like venom. It's killing me slowly. Life is trying to put me in submission, but I'm just a black man that's on a mission. Nobody will notice when I go missing because I'm going to be cleansing and healing. I'm on a vendetta to get the old me back, but once society sees me becoming successful, they stop me. You're killing me. I'm alone. I'm by myself. I don't got nobody that's there for me. All my life I've been surrounded by snakes that's been feeding me negativity. But they say distance yourself from negativity in your life, but what if I am the negativity in my life? I always put on a disguise. I'm fake. And all my life I've been running away, running towards pain, running from the game, running towards things that's been causing me shame, running from my blessings, running from my lessons, running away from everything that'll cause me to confess. Running from my past, running from my destiny, running away from everything that God has put in my life to better me, running from responsibility, running from positivity. Just walk a mile in my shoes and you will see. I have a lot to say to Uncle Sam. Us black people done went through a lot, but you can't dare to make it stop. So we decided to put things in our own hands. But you decided to keep us under, man. Joke's on you, because now I've met people that's just as clever as me. Now they ask when me and Cruz collab gonna drop. Man, never. Because now y'all can't handle two young black men this clever. Uncle Sam in my own community can't find nothing no better. I'm a lost man that's trying to find my place, but I'm so slow. I got overlapped in my own race. Now there's guns pointed at both of my temples. Uncle Sam in my community can't see an issue. All I know is that they don't want to see me being successful. But I guess it's all in my mental. My body is only a rental, and everyone tells me when I leave, nobody will ever miss you, and that's real.
And that's just on that.
Sure. And facts.
Tell them one more time, boy. Tell them one more time.
So this is my first time being here, so I guess I do three.
No, you don't have to.
Yeah.
She said
Yeah, do one.
So I'm gonna do three. So this one is called The Life of an African Descendant. Whew, bear with me. Y'all took me from my homeland, my motherland. Had me, my friends, and family on these ships heading to this new land. stripped us of our clothing, had us eating, drinking, and sleeping in our urine and feces, with mice and rats running across the floor and the ceiling. Whenever we got sick from the diseases that we've been dealt, you always beat us or threw us overboard. So you threw me overboard and you thought I sank to the bottom so the sharks could start feeding. But instead I found some driftwood and floated away like Rose from the Titanic. When I awoke, I found myself in a barn house with hay as my bedding, living with all these different animals as companions. Next thing I knew, I was calling my Caucasian counterpart master and getting my name changed just like Kunta Kinte. But I fought back just like Django. We switched roles, so I whipped you just like you did my sister. You were scared of me because of the royal blood that flows through my veins and the strength that we have as a group of people. You were scared of the fact that there are 2 black kings that are coexisting on those plantations that you created, so society tore us apart. Society branded numbers on our bodies and shirts. I take that back, not shirts, suits, orange jumpsuits at that. Society didn't see me as a person, they see me as another. Yeah, walking across the street. So they call in the cavalry that claims they're here to protect every civilian. And when they see me holding some candy, drink, or even my phone, they bring in the FBI, SWAT, and even the military to apprehend me. But yet they claim they're doing this for the greater good. So am I not something worth protecting? Am I someone that you see as a waste of room? You see me as a wild animal, so then I guess I'm considered an endangered species. But I still have a voice just like you. I still have a personality just like you. So why do I have to work 10 to 100 times harder just to receive the same thing as you? But since African Americans outnumber y'all Caucasians, your scared will rise up. So you make everything harder for us to achieve and receive, even though we still have dreams just like Martin Luther King. But I'm still fighting on because my ancestors didn't do all they did just for me, to give up and call it quits. I still exist because they lived through me, guiding me through my journey of life, helping me along the way until I show the world that I am a king, worth acknowledging. My name will go down in history just like Harriet Tubman and Sojourner Truth. But until that day, beware of me and what I can become. All right, that's that. All right. Okay, so this last one, my friend, his name Otto Six, and he sent me a poem, or somebody reciting a poem, and kind of challenged me to like redo a version of it, but he was also going through the same thing, but because like he was in a little something, but yeah, it's called his version of a love poem. This is to the girl that I'm obsessed over. I just wanted to say hi. But instead of saying hi, I started stuttering like Porky Pig. I wasn't able to say how I really feel about you without jumbling my words and creating slurred sentences. You're an imperfect, perfect being the way that God intended for you to be. I love how you can rock any hairstyle and how your smile is as bright as a quasar. How your melanin skin glistens in the presence of the sun when it caresses you at just the right moment. You're beautiful. Love is a very touchy subject for me. As a matter of fact, I heard that love is considered to be a double-edged sword. Either you can get cut and be happy, or you can get cut and be in pain. Either way it goes, you have a scar that represents just how brutal love can really be. Whoa. I also heard love is blind, so every time I think about love, I put my sunglasses on, smack my cane against the wall, and count how many steps it takes just to get back to you again. On top of that, I always write my feelings about you in Braille. I never know if what I say about you is too much or too little because true love is endless. Whenever I think about real love, I always believe that it's how close the J is to the K, or how my knees still get weak whenever I'm around you. But me and love doesn't have a real good connection with one another. As a matter of fact, we're like two male dogs fighting over who gets to mate with the female when she just came in the heat. But since this is my first love poem that I ever wrote, I decided that it would be about you. And how you left a permanent mark on my heart, just like the doctors did during my life-changing operation. To be honest, I don't really like talking about love, but if I ever did, I write about how I see your beautiful smile every single time I close my eyes. Or how my olfactory receptors in my nose can still smell your perfume, even if I haven't seen you for a couple of days. You see, I've written 18 poems, and every poem I think about you as a source of my inspiration. Because if you were here with me right now, I would have the bath water running for you with some Luther Vandross playing in the background, with rose petals all over the bed in the shape of a heart just to show you how much I love you. I would do all of these things to you until your smile is just as big as the distance between America and Japan. Let me cater to you, no Destiny's Child. If I were a love poet, and if this was a love poem, I'd write how you have the boldness to make anything ugly beautiful. How when you lay your head against my chest, my heart does the kid play with my lungs, which ends up taking my breath away. How my heart breaks through my rib cage and how it reveals itself like if we were in a 3D movie. How when I see your name pop up on my phone, it feels like I do somersaults off of the Eiffel Tower, even though I'm just kicking the sheets off my bed in joy. I know this is gonna sound weird, but when I shot my shot, I took the ball like JR and ran around the court in the last 24 seconds of the shot clock so that nobody else can shoot their shot and have the possibility of taking you away from me. I swear, I really hate talking about love. But if I ever did write a poem about love, my first love poem will be about you. But in the midst of all of that, she popped the question, how do you really feel about me? I said, let me say it like this, when I look into your eyes, I can see my future with you. And when our lips touch, I envision myself getting down on one knee in a public facility asking you to marry me. When I go to sleep at night, I dream about you and how I go back to the day we first met, how I could barely muster up the courage to say hi, all over again without stuttering. I've been trying to take the right careful baby steps to get back to your heart. But it feels like I've been walking in the same spot for eternity. You see, we lived in two totally different worlds. You were the Pharaoh's daughter and I was just a humble servant, fantasizing about my next 60 years being with you. But then doing all of that led to my downfall and I died getting crushed by a boulder. After that, I was resurrected as a store clerk and you just a passing by customer. And after ringing up your items, I didn't see you again until I died after getting robbed. Then I came back as a zebra and you a majestic lioness, stalking her prey with the end game being my throat locked between your jaws. But I was okay because I was never more close to you. Then I woke as a scalper and you as the patient. I ended up cutting you, but the doctor had put you to sleep so you didn't feel anything, but I felt everything and it hurt me more than it hurt you. But when the doctor died and you died during the operation, I died along with you. And I came back just so that God could lead me up to this moment of seeing you again. You see, he left signs for me in random places on my journey of life. I carved our names on a tree just so you could stumble across it and have it jog all of our memory, all of your memories of us. You see, I whispered your name in the wind, hoping that it would carry all the way to your ears so you could remember what my voice sounded like. But you didn't remember nothing about me, so it killed me. Then I came back just to die young with candy all over my lips, so my family buried me. But when they buried me, they put these golden nuggets in my hand so that when I went to heaven, I could use them as an offering just so I could come back to earth to look for you. That's why when we held hands, I squeezed a little too tight just to make sure I wasn't dreaming, or I wrapped my arms around your waist so I wouldn't have the risk of losing the most important thing that could have ever happened to me again. My family told me that when you find something worth fighting for, you would do any and everything in your power to get that thing back. This was based off of the other guy. Yeah, but.
Not Jonesy. All right. So what is our next guest?
Sam.
Please welcome Sam to the stage.
Hey y'all. Okay, so I'll tell y'all this. I haven't said a poem in front of people since I was in 7th grade. So be nasty. So this poem is called That One Girl, and it goes like this. When she walks, her hips are the first thing you notice. They spread widely as the waist comes into a 27. Her boobs sit highs in 3Ds. It will never jump. She gets told her body is what they wish they had, or wish to hold. Not caring the attention it brings, endless back pains. Man, it's hard to stand up straight, but she's always expected to, always approached by men over 35 with the same weak-ass line on some, hey baby, you look real good, or you're too pretty to not be smiling. A comment she could have honestly lived without, so smart, but no one even listens long enough to figure that out. Her face so beautiful, but no one stares long enough to notice. She has her haters, of course, but bitches that address her with the mean mug meant to intimidate. She gets told to say fuck the haters and walk with her middle finger held high, emotions on a constant go. This shit's fucking with her mental, but her mama ain't raised no failure, and I'll be damned. I mean, she'll be damned if she let weak ass shit knock her off her track. Too strong to let back pains, rusty old niggas, and no confident having females get her off her track. She shakes that shit off. Period. Goal is to make them feel some type of way while she's feeling great. And she's gonna continue to do just that.
Wow. All right, who is our next guest?
Tim?
Yes.
But there's a little notation there, the second Tim, so that's why I wasn't sure.
Tim, aka Screw Up 2.0.
Oh, okay. There we go.
Let's go. Give him some.
It's fine. Okay. Wow.
Baby, okay, baby.
Kill that shit.
Period.
Oh my god. All right. So, hi. I'm gonna give a little introduction. My name is Timothy Johnson II. But I now go by the second. I've never performed in front of like a live audience. Well, I perform at church, but never like in public. So bear with me.
Okay, Grace in the house. Okay, Grace.
I also don't do spoken word. I sing.
Sing. He sang. I'm sorry, I'm gonna let you go. Give us some notes, baby.
So for if y'all know this song, I really want y'all to help me sing it. It's some J. Cole. So bear with me.
I know it. I don't know what it is, but I know.
Y'all got me?
Yeah, I got you.
You ready? It wasn't nothing like that first time. She was in my math class. Long hair, brown skin with a fat ass. Sat beside me, used to laugh at mad jokes. The teacher always got mad, so we passed notes. It started off so innocent. She had a vibe and a nigga started digging it. I was young, straight cushion, trying to play the shit cool, but a nigga couldn't wait to get to school. Cause when I seen her thighs on it, and them hips on it, and them lips on it, got me daydreaming, man, what? I'm thinking how she rides on it, if she sits on it, if she licks on it, make it hard for me to stand up. As time goes by, attraction getting deeper. I'm playing dreaming, thinking I'm smashing, but I'm sleeping. I want it bad, and I ain't never been obsessed before. She wrote a note and said, you ever had sex before? Man, and I ain't never did this before, no. 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 I wrote back and said, of course I had sex before. Knowing I was frontin', I said I'm like a pro, baby. Knowing I was stuntin', but if I had to choose,
Get played out, son.
I had been in pussy since the day I came out, but she don't know that, so she done wrote back and told me, oh, you a pro, homie? Well, I want you to show me. My mama gone for the weekend, so Saturday, baby, we can get to freaking. That's when my heart start racing and my body starts sweating, baby. You don't want my little man up. I'm thinking how that body look naked when you laying on the bed. Teacher, please don't make me stand up. I wrote back like, yeah, baby, sound like a plan. Still trying to play it cool, sound like the man, but I was scared to death, my nigga. Some return, talking shit, knowing damn well I was a virgin.
Fuck.
Wow. That was a little icebreaker. But,
I sing that in church?
No. I sing a lot of gospel songs in church, but that was some secular, you know, for the audience.
Secular.
Wow.
Bear with me. Alright, so I'm gonna switch gears.
Okay.
I'm gonna sing some John Legend.
Okay.
Yeah.
Give it to him. Raw and uncut, baby. Yes.
Alright. Girl, I'm in love with you. This ain't the honeymoon. Past the infatuation phase. Right in the thick of love. And times we get sick of love. Seems like we argue every day. I know I misbehaved, but you made your mistakes, and we both still got room left to grow. And though love sometimes hurts, I still put you first, and we'll make this thing work. But I think we should take it slow. We're just ordinary people. We don't know which way to go.
Why?
'Cause we're ordinary people.
What should we do?
Maybe we should take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. Take it slow. Oh, oh, oh. This time we'll take it slow. This ain't a movie, love, no fairy tale conclusion, yo. It gets more confusing every day. Sometimes it's heaven sent, then we go back to hell again. We kiss, then we make up all the way. I hang up, you call, we rise and we fall, and we feel just like walking away. As our love advances, we take second chances, though it's not a fantasy. I still want you to stay, 'cause we're ordinary people.
Yeah, we are.
We don't know which way to go. We're just ordinary people. Maybe we should take it slow, take it slow. It's time we'll take it slow, take it slow. It's time we'll take it slow, take it slow.
I like that.
Take it slow, take it slow. It's time we'll take it slow. Thank you.
All right, who's our next?
Julie Graham.
Would you please welcome my girlfriend up to the stage, Julie Graham, please? So much you got, my babe.
Hello everybody, I haven't been up here in quite a while, and some of you know me, some of you don't, and to give you a little background, I'm legally deaf, but throughout many years that I learned a lot about deafness. I wanted to tell a few jokes and some of my common knowledges and stuff that I've learned throughout the years that I found amusing. So the first joke is a Russian, a Mexican, and a deaf man are traveling on a train together, and the stewardess comes around and asks them if they want something to drink. The Russian says, I would like some vodka. So he takes one sip of vodka and throws it out the window. And he says, whoa, we got plenty of vodka in my country. So the Mexican says, I'm not going to be undone here. I'm going to order me some tequila. So he takes a sip and throws it out the window. He says, well, we have plenty of tequila in my country. So the stewardess asks the deaf man. The deaf man takes her and throws her out the window, and they're like, oh, what did you do? What did you do that for? I said, oh, I have plenty of hearing people in my country. Okay, so I have another joke. I'm going to save that one a little bit, and probably one you heard before too. But there's a couple things I was thinking about, things that I've learned when I was in group homes and taking classes in school and stuff like that. This is a sign that's pretty vivid in my mind. It's a person. So the sign for a person's like this, a sign of a person walking, a sign of a person falling down, a sign of a person getting beat up. It's also the letter D. Okay, so this is a sign for a famous celebrity. Okay? This is the chest section, this is the bottom of the body, and this is the...
Dolly Parton.
So this is a D. Who's famous has boobs with D?
Dolly Parton.
Dolly Parton. That's a sign for Dolly Parton, by the way. Another famous thing. Back in the 80s, there was this movie, and it's fingerspelled, but it's fingerspelled a certain way. Very terrifying, very horrific movie, very gory, very on a boat even. So it goes like this. Then you do it in a mirror to each other. It's J-A-W-S.
Jaws.
Jaws. So, I'm teaching you guys tonight. I thought And I thought of two instances where people always want to know what the swear words are. I was watching a Metallica concert with my boyfriend about 10, 15 years ago, and I was learning sign language, and they're showing the audience that are going at and doing their thing, and fans and always are going like this or like this. It means rock on or whatever, and there's a big debate I heard about that being Satan worshiping and whatever. On the deaf community, I thought it was kind of interesting because I'm watching this here and I'm seeing the signs that you learn in the deaf community. And I start laughing. And my friends, what the heck are you laughing for? They're going, I love you, man. And then they're saying, bullshit. I love you, bullshit. I mean, come on, you guys, it's kind of confusing. I thought it was hilarious. Well, like, make up your mind. You love Metallica or not? The next one is a swear word thing too, but I'm gonna cut it with a story. I was learning, you know, in school and stuff, like walking on a mott one day. There's this bridge that goes over to the parking garage where my car was, and there were some kids standing on the bridge there looking at Central University, being very bad kids. And there's a kid down there running his butt off, and I'm sorry, he was big. And he's like, go, fatty, go! Hey, you little stupid fatty! I'm like, so I walk up. Hi! How are you doing? It's nice to see you. Hi, and have a good day. I was calling them assholes. Okay. And not to take much more time, this is my last joke. This was actually a comic strip thing that I seen at the group home. These two girls were sitting there and they were socializing one time, and one girl says to the other, says, all those years of phone sex have caught up with me. She says, oh, really? I now have hearing aids. That's about it.
Well, I guess that's all we have.
Yep.
So, you guys have a wonderful night. And I am the funny man, Mark Taylor. Thank you for coming. It was good to host. Oh, and I forgot to mention, if you would like to host this, give Jennie a jingle on her email, and she'll hook you right up. I'm the host of Funny Man, Mark Taylor. Good night.